everyone. My name is Beth Ledwig, and my job at Star Performance is to try and make sure that everyone has all their questions answered as they join an All-Star team or as they transition, whether or not they are brand new to Star or if they're transitioning from rec classes into the All-Star world. So I have this presentation that I will also share with you so that you have access to it, but there are a few things that I think will be helpful for me to help walk you through and make sure that everybody understands all the different aspects of it. I just wanted to at first have my webcam on so you could kind of put a name to a face in case you need to email me or see me in the studio or at a competition. Feel free to come up to me or email me with questions. Okay, so I'm going to turn my webcam off and I am going to kind of work through a few things with you. So this is information for our limited team. So that would be youth, limited, mini limited, and tiny limited is what we're focusing on in this video. So I'm going to make sure that you know how to sign up for extra classes, make sure that you know the difference between tuition and Blazing Stars, and make sure that you're all set up for automatic payments because that's how we want to roll. All right, so first things first, pretty much all of that stuff that we just talked about is best if you go to the website. So I'm going to go ahead and spend quite a bit of time on the website so I can kind of walk you through things that are on here. But first, just making sure that all of your team, that a bunch of stuff is going to be located on here. So if we talk about taking extra classes, I want you to make sure that you know that over here in this little more section, there is a place where you go that says login. So you click on login. You have online account access, so you log into that. All right, and then when you are logging in, so we'll talk about the difference between tuition and Blazing Stars in a few moments, but when you log in to your tuition account, that is how you register your child for classes. So you will notice that the ID, the email or the user ID for your regular tuition account is your whole entire email address. So that's really important to remember so that you know which account to use to register for classes. And I'll kind of show you the difference. So when you pull this up, you'll see this dashboard. Okay, so the dashboard is going to have your child's schedule on there and what you've signed up for, whatever your current balance is. That does not mean that you're going to have to pay that all at one time. That just means it's already preloaded, and I'll kind of talk about that when I do that too. But first, we're going to talk about classes. So I'll click on classes. And when I click on classes, I want to click on find classes. All right, and then my daughter's name is Mackenzie. So this is going to just bring up all of the things that are available to take. So there's acro, for the all-star teams, there's ballet intensive camps, there's acro clinics, there is a whole bunch of stuff, as you can see. So you can go through and you can look at whatever your child is interested in taking. And so, for instance, if my child wanted to do the side aerial clinic, I would click on the side aerial clinic and then I would click add to cart. Then when that comes up, that is going to show your students. So if you have more than one child, you would just pick whichever one or ones you want to have in here. You have to make sure that if you have not already read all these policies, make sure that you have read them. And then you would click on that I have read and agree after you've read them all. And you'll have to do this every single time, so you only have to read them once. And then you would click on add. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I'm not signing her up for this clinic. But that's how you do that. You would then also go in, and that's how you would get to your billing and payments and things like that. I'm not going to show you my whole account, but you get the idea that there's a lot of information here. So this is my tuition account. And so that's how you register for classes. So log in, and then you go through that. Okay, so that's the first thing that I wanted to make sure you knew how to do. But again, I also have all of this on the presentation. So if you need to look through it again, I tried to take it through step by step by step so that you could make sure you understand it both ways. All right, so now let's talk about finances. So tuition is the account that I had just logged in. So if I go back to the website and I click on teams, you are on a limited travel team. So you would click limited travel teams, and then you have all of this information. And then there will be more information posted as the year progresses. So if I just pick mini limited team information, that's going to bring up this sheet. And this sheet is going to look similar for every age group. So mini limited travel is for kids born between 2013 and 2015. They're going to be doing hip hop and pom. They will competing in the winter show, the spring recital, and 3 or 4 competitions. Tuition is due on the first of each month. Tuition for those 2 routines is $135 in June, and then $100 July and August, and then $110 September through May. Okay, so every month that's what you'll have to pay if that is all that they're doing. If they're doing acro, or if they're doing ballet, or if they're doing any of these other things, then this is the additional cost. Okay, so that would be added into your tuition. Blazing Stars is a separate account that we talked about, and that is $155 a month for your routines, and you play that from July to April. You can also pay this ahead of time, of course. You don't have to pay it monthly, but we do ask that you have auto pay set up if you are not going to pay it ahead of time. All right, so then I think that's all I needed to talk about with tuition. Okay, so what tuition includes? So a couple of other things that I forgot. You will receive an email on or about the first of each month with your tuition statement. And they're also saved on the portal. So if we go back into the portal where we were before, you can see that I have a lot of messages, right, that I haven't looked at because I also get these in an email. I look at mine on the email and not on here. So, but you will get that email every month. But if you accidentally delete it or you can't find it, it's always there. Tuition will be charged around the 10th of each month because they do an audit to make sure that everything is correct. But you will get your statement on the first of the month. And then tuition includes any class time that your dancer has. So that includes practice time, privates, extra camps, extra classes, clinics, anything like that that they sign up for that in which they are in the studio counts as tuition. Okay. Then the Blazing Stars account is a separate account that gets billed on the 15th of each month. And there are 2 different logins for that. And these payments, like we just talked about, are July through April. So you can get to your Blazing Stars account. Really, it's the same login portal, but you can go to the Blazing Stars tab, which is where I am right now. And it kind of gives you a little bit of information about what Blazing Stars is. And then let's see, Blazing Stars login. You will notice that it looks exactly the same as our other login. The difference is that it's not your whole email. It's just the first part of your email. Okay, I know it's a little bit confusing, but that's how it works because it's 2 different pools of money. And you can see that currently I don't have a balance in Blazing Stars because they're still deciding teams and all of that information. So all that hasn't been loaded in yet. That will all get loaded in once they've decided teams and once they figured it out. But since you're unlimited, we already know that yours will be $1,550. And so that will get loaded sometime soon so that you know. Sorry, this is everything that she was on last year. So you will know. And again, I have all these emails in here with account information, my billing and payment. So that's how you load in your credit card. So you do have to have your credit card loaded in on both sites. You can use the same credit card, you can use a different credit card, but you need to have it loaded on both sites. Okay, so the difference between tuition and Blazing Stars is that tuition includes studio time. Blazing Star includes everything that's not studio time related. So that means it includes coaches' fees, entry fees for competitions, costumes, music, their poms, their competition shoes, hair pieces, basically anything that goes into putting them out on the stage is included in their Blazing Stars account. You also get an email about this every month. So you'll get 2 different emails, one about your tuition and one about the Blazing Stars. Okay, this is the stuff that, I also wanted to make sure that you saw that. So when I log in this way, you will notice that if I go to classes and I go to find classes, there's nothing listed. And that's because this is my Blazing Stars account and not my tuition account. I can only register from classes for my tuition account. So if you ever have trouble, there's 2 ways that you can do it. Change your login. But if you forget that, you can always go here to classes, because I forgot it before, so I figured this out too. And you can always go to class registration. Maybe it was under... Yeah, so I went to summer and I clicked on enroll today. And that's for team registration. You'll see all that stuff that we saw before from here. So that's just another way you can get to it if you accidentally forget which account you're in or whatever like that. Okay, so let's see. Then we have some extra things that your dancer will have to, some of them they will have to have, and some of them are optional. Everything that all dancers need to have is a team jacket, and there are 2 options, and I showed you screenshots of each of them. Earrings that you can buy at the studio, the choker that you can buy at the studio, the makeup. We will provide the lipstick, and we will give you a makeup list, and I'll send out a new presentation with that information coming up closer to when you need it. Any hair supplies, that's like hairspray and pins and that kind of stuff. And then practice shoes, because they don't wear their competition shoes for practice. You can use any jazz shoes that you have and any gym shoes that you have. I usually just throw or buy my daughter a cheap pair of gym shoes for hip hop practice that I just throw in her bag, and she keeps them there all year. Optional are backpacks. You can see the backpack that is pictured there. And then also spirit wear. From time to time, there will be spirit wear announcements on the Facebook page. So just keep an eye out for those. When you are looking for the team jacket and the backpack, you're going to go to, again, back on the website under the More tab, you're going to click on Shop. That will be this SPC Pro Shop from Champion. There is a makeup kit if you just want to do it that way. I usually just buy my stuff from Target or Amazon. Or I go to Ulta sometimes just to make sure it matches my daughter's skin tone. Because I can pick a little bit easier than just ordering something. Okay. And then there's the SPC Pro Shop at the studio. That's where, again, you'll get, we do have shoes for sale. There's competition makeup, like the lipstick for sale, competition jewelry, which is the earrings and the choker. And then t-shirts will also be in there if you're interested in those. Okay. So here are your competitions. So you will do the December winter recital. January 6th, you will be competing at Seton. So you will notice that practice is mandatory 2 weeks before a competition. They are mandatory, except for illness, of course, and that will be dealt with separately. But mandatory practice for Seton is obviously not going to be 2 weeks before because we're on our winter break. So mandatory practice will be January 2nd. However, when schools go back and stuff, if you have already planned a trip and you will not be back, please let us know ASAP that you cannot be there so that we can make sure that we know that way ahead of time. January 27th is Mount Notre Dame. February is to be determined, but that will be another Amy is trying to find another local competition for the limited teams for sometime in February. And then March 16th or 17th, we will be competing in Nashville. A couple of things about when we travel. We are not required to stay with the whole entire studio. You can find wherever you want to stay. Team Travel Source is a website that sometimes has cheaper prices. You are welcome to go through there first. We recommend that you shop around, maybe find a friend that you can room with, because some of these competitions, the one in Nashville is held at the Gaylord. It's super, super nice, but it's also very expensive. So there's different ways around spending that much money. And then your final performance of the year will be the spring recital, which will be in May. So those are the competitions and performances. Okay, there are 3 Facebook pages that you need to make sure that you join. One is the one for your team. That is most important. So make sure that you are on the parent page for your child's team. And I know that Amy helped you do that at the meeting. But most of them just have your team name in them. So like Star Limited, Mini Limited, or um, let me see if I can figure out what it's exactly called. Yeah, so like SPC Youth Limited Travel, SPC Tiny Limited Travel, SPC Mini Limited Travel. So if you're not already on there, I need you to get on that as soon as you can. I also recommend that you just follow the Star Performance page. They have a Facebook and an Instagram page because that just helps promote the studio, shows great and interesting things that are going on that you might not be aware of if it's not affecting your child's team. And then fundraising. If you're interested in fundraising, join the SPC fundraising page. There are several fundraising opportunities that we have throughout the year to help alleviate some of these costs, and those all go into your Blazing Stars account. Julie Thomas is our coordinator for that this year, and she will be in contact and put information out on that Facebook page coming up shortly. All right, so if you need help logging in to the account, into either your Blazing Stars or your tuition account, there's more information on this video, which I will fix before I share this with you so that you can watch that, and it has really good information. It's also linked on the website, but I'll make sure that this video works when I send it out to you or include the link to it. All right. If you still have questions, there is my email address, which is beth@starperformancecenter.com. Please make sure that you reach out and you let me know anything that you need. I will be in contact with you periodically throughout the season when new things are coming up, or if there are things that I've been getting questions about. I will send you all an email or post something on the Facebook page to make sure that you're all in the loop. I'm also going to be sending out a Google form to make sure that you know how to get logged in, because we really need to make sure that everyone is logged into both accounts and that they understand everything. That way I know who to get in direct contact with to make sure that they are ready to go before our season starts. So if you would take just a couple minutes, it's real short, I would be very appreciative. But again, if you have any questions, please make sure you reach out and let me know. Thanks. Have a great season. I'm so excited.